Greetings and welcome to Factorio. I'm Dgray and today we continue our entry level to Megabase, where in the last episode just set up this beauty of a low density structure setup. The only problem is that now our base is severely lacking copper, so in today's episode we will spend a bit of time, or pretty much all the time, setting up copper production and maybe getting into iron as well. We'll see. So if you think that's a good idea, do remember to leave a like on the video, and if new to the channel, do remember to subscribe as well. And as always, a big thanks to all my Patreon supporters. So what I want to do today, instead of doing a normal one like we did up here with the steel, where we have it built in, having a lot of builds being used, which is not really UPS friendly, let's do something different. I've done the math on about how much I need to run a 2k science per minute base, and it's around 115,000 per minute. As it stands right now, one of these can supply about 10-11k per minute. So if we go up, we'll need about 11 to support what's it called, 2k science per minute, or 44 of these rows, or just 11 of these setups. So let's try and cram them in to a place and see what we can build, and I think that's gonna be quite fun. So what I want to do is kind of set them up over here, maybe just two right next to each other, and see what what size we can make them. We might also maybe remove the one here in the middle and use that for what's it called, input as well, but I'll kind of want to keep them separated, just because it looks more cool and it enables us to have a pretty nice train setup. So firstly, let's grab this little setup here. It outputs full belts like we want, and we have things going in, each one consuming just about one full belt, but of course a bit less than that. So what we need to do is pretty much line this up somewhere in the middle. I kind of want the inputs, as that is where the most belts will, well, it'll be pretty much the same amount of belts. So what if we just line it up here as closely to the middle as possible and see how many we can actually fit. So 1, 2, seems we can fit about, go to here, we can fit, it's the maximum we can get in. Let's try that. That is exactly 11 rows. So about 4 of these, and we can supply what we need, 4 grids with this much in it. So if we look at all of this and what we'll require in, we have 11 inputs. That means if you give each of them one belt, also to make sure we can deliver it fast enough, we can then hook up about 3 train stops that will unload all of our copper, and it'd be good with that. So let's try and set it up. I kind of want to get one here, there and there, because we have a bit more room on that side. So what if we do this? We'll do 1, then do the other one, 2, and 3. That will give us 12 lines of copper going in, supplying into these, giving us 11 lines of copper out. Of course, we won't be consuming 12, but it looks the best like this, and it will make sure we have the throughput. Then down here, we will in theory need 3 loading stations, 4 for each of them. So if we do loading, then we'll have 1, 2, and then a third over here. So this one will take 3 full belts of copper. These 2 will take 4 each, and then we'll get a pretty hefty amount of copper out, which is the main goal about this build. In the future, then we can copy this 1, 2, maybe 3 times, depending on where we have room. And How much do maybe 4? I don't know how close they should be next to each other, but that is what we want to do. One of these going full speed, if they go in, then they'll be able to support a bit more than 4 of these, as they don't take, for full builds, they take a bit less than that because of the productivity. But that we'll look at. I can see we're missing a few inserters. Let's just quickly rectify that. Just give us a full. What I'm doing right here is just moving it to a mall. You can see our robots working. And saying instead of the limit we have on our stack inserters at the moment, let's just remove the limits. Now we'll fill up completely instead. Just so we don't run into issues where we don't have enough produced. For example, only 200 in storage. We'll make sure we have to wait for things we want to make. So everything's getting flown in. Hopefully we have everything we need for this build. It does require quite a bit. Can we see if we do that amount of modules as well? And 400, almost 400 speed modules and 300 productivity modules. But I think that'll look quite good. So while this is building, let's hook up the outputs. Let's see here. Let's go to our balancer. And we'll do 1. I'll just copy this a few times. There we are. We should be able to take you then. Line you up where needed. So there. And the last one over here. Can you fit in just like that? Oh, that actually lines up very nicely compared to how far down these goes. Did not plan that, but I am most certainly not gonna complain about it. So, don't we need to hook up the belts? We'll just keep this design. Maybe make something that's better, but I think it looks somewhat decent. Let's see. 4. And we'll like to hook you up someplace good. So we'll have you here, there, and the last one right here. So now that is hooked up. You'll need the next 4 to go over here. That means we'll have, let's see, 1, 2. Let's just turn it one way it plays good, like that. But maybe do this one first. So 1, 2, and 3. And that one. You can kind of go this way. Hook in. Here and you to there. So simple as that. We made a pretty big improvement for our copper. What I want to do now is, of course, also hook up the inputs up top. But as soon as that is working, we can copy this a few times. Our power should still be holding strong. We have a lot of steam turbines on nuclear power plants going. Let's get our 4 lines in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4 here. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, we just need to have you going over here instead, like that. There we are, and four. That looks pretty decent. Then the next 4 from up here will go something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually turning into being a pretty nice build in terms of size as well. And then you can turn, the first one fits here, and the second one here, and the third one there. There we are. That is 4 lanes of copper in there. And then the last one over here will have 3 lanes. So can we fit you in somewhere around here? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. There, and then we will turn. You go in, and in. So there we are. That is pretty much our current setup for copper. As soon as the module's in, we'll see how much they can produce, but it should be a pretty hefty amount. And of course it will require quite a few trains going in this way to unload what we need. There we are, that's fine, that is fine. Everything is connected up. We'll have to change you to what you need to be. So you'll be, copper plate is actually correct for this one. And let's see. Copper plate loading. Let's take these two. Copper plate loading and copper plate loading. That is looking pretty decent. Again, we will have a bit of a buffer here. The 32k is a bit too much, but it's what we consume in when we're running full speed every 15 seconds or so. So I don't mind having a bit there. It's almost nothing in the grand scheme of things. So the rest of you are getting in. Are you completely built? Oh, the rest of the modules are right here. And luckily that we expanded this one before, because even with that we are still at about 1000 or 1.3k here or 1k here. But we are missing out of all of the red circuits, so that's something we'll have to expand in the future. I think that is probably a lack of copper and iron, and as well the production of green circuits and red circuits. So that is also something we have to fix for the future. But now at least we are gonna fix a ton of our copper issues, which is one of the most pressing things at the moment. Thank you, little robots, for bringing me things. So the last thing we need to do here is, of course, get the rest of this built. That is going to be done in a second. Get the rest of the modules in, and then we can pretty much activate all of these, setting them to copper ore inputs. I might as well just get it started, as I think it'll be quite cool to watch it in action. Of course, I'm not quite sure how much we have producing. As you can see, this one is 35, this one is also 35, almost full. And we have more we can grab up here, and we have another in here that's pretty much getting emptied out. This one's empty now, so we should be able to, or close to also get this emptied out. Let's see, you'll be copper ore in, and you'll be copper ore unloading. They are going now, that is perfect. Let's get the rest of them up and running. Please get you and you. Again, very, very nice to be built modular. So we can easily hook it up like this. So now you can see unloading, unloading, loading, loading, unloading. It seems we're gonna empty out most of our things we have at the moment. Can probably help you get the rest of you done. There goes the first ore. This one is still lacking a bit. That'll get done soon, but let's just watch this in action. You are going all the way down for this. Here goes the first copper. Hopefully full lines. It should be full lines. There we are, fully compressed. And things are looking... Oh, look at all that delicious copper. This one is still missing a bit because our robots are here with the rest of the belts. Could in theory help them out, but yeah, look at that. Let's just help them out a bit. Should we? Let's see, they are right there. Let's give them a helping hand. Look at that, already consumed all the copper we had in the base, so we will need to hook up a ton more trains and get even more, what's it called? For some of them, even more mining up and running, because this thing is gonna eat through our copper at insane rates. So 3, 4, so we need a copper one depot here. We need a depot over here. Then we just need to load everything in. We have 4 loading copper. That's probably not going to be enough, because this beast of a build will consume everything that our little base can handle. Hopefully the trains can keep up with the throughput. I might be a bit worried about it having enough throughput, but we'll find out. I'll probably need a lot more trains delivering ore. So that might be one of the main bottlenecks we have at the moment, that we have nothing standing by. So let's just add in a few more trains to move the copper. Could, in theory, I'll show you a pretty neat trick right here. This one is now set for copper. If we then do a copy of that part, for example right here, and say take trains with us, then we can have trains that's already preloaded with the copper ore. Let's see here, and we'll probably add a picture up here, copper ore, and give it train icon, wagon. Because what we can do then, for example, if we do that, I'll just take half of you back, is that now we can activate this to go to the depot. You can go to the depot. We then take our new blueprint, if I forgot to save it. I forget to save it. Oh well. But in theory, then you can take that blueprint and use it to stamp down the trains. Probably do it with this one as well, so let's see. Please do that. It is now in. Correct loading. And we'll just add a bit of copper to you and send 2 more trains along its way. Oh, Jesus. No, stop you. The other one had 2. We missed 1 wagon on this one. Whew, that could have been bad. It could have been very, very bad. As you can see, now things are running. We are producing more copper. Not quite sure how much more. But we can go up to a 4.41 here. K per minute. But again, before we get our throughput solved, being that we need more trains loading, we just need more ore. We won't be able to do much more than this. So I think this is a pretty decent place to end. We might have to go and expand out for all of these. So what I'll do, no, we'll do it next episode. We need to get some landfill up and running, so it's be easy for us to expand out through all of these lakes, as they are starting to be a bit of an issue. But we'll see. We might also do a copper up here, just grabbing everything from here and in, to make sure we don't have trains running for all of it. But yeah, it's gonna be a bit bumpy so far. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully you'll leave a like on the video, and if you're new to the channel, do remember to subscribe as well. And as always, you can get this blueprint from Discord. I will be more than happy to share it, and then you can use it in your own world. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I've been Dgray, and I'll see you in the next episode.